Right now, as you hear these words, a sentence may already be forming in your head. You can't. You won't. This never ends. You know that tone. It sounds exactly like you, uses your memories against you, and speaks with the authority of your own inner narrator. But here is the first hidden teaching. That voice is not yours. It borrows your accent to sell you a future you never chose. And the moment you see it for what it is, it begins to lose power. You are not weak because you feel this pressure. You are awake to it. The most dangerous lie is the one that wears your voice and calls itself truth. It doesn't shout. It drips, thought after thought, until your hope feels waterlogged. You lie down to rest and the mind keeps working shifts you never assigned. You try to pray and the noise grows louder. You promise yourself you will change, and a whisper laughs. Not you. If this is familiar, you are not broken. You are on the front line of the oldest battle named by Jesus himself. Jesus did not romanticize this struggle. He warned, "Watch and pray." He cut through temptation with a blade of words. "It is written." He called the enemy a liar and exposed the scam. Thoughts that exalt themselves against the knowledge of God do not belong to you. They are squatters. They enter without knocking and reseat themselves in your living room like they pay the rent. But they don't, and you do not have to host them. Stay with me. In a few minutes you will learn a simple switch you can carry anywhere. No rituals, no counting, no special place. It works in a line at the store, at a sleepless bedside, on a walk to the bus stop. It is not about pretending the noise isn't there. It is about refusing to identify with it and replacing it with a word that carries weight. Before this chapter ends, make a quiet decision. You will stop calling every thought me. Think of your inner life as a gate. Every day, thousands of visitors arrive. Most leave without harm. Some steal, some set fires. You are the gatekeeper, not the prisoner. When Jesus says, "Take every thought captive," he isn't asking you to wrestle your mind into silence by force of will. He is handing you legal language. You can tag a thought as trespassing and escort it to the edge of the property. You can refuse to host it a second longer. You can replace it with a word that carries the authority of the one who speaks truth. Listen closely. You are not behind. You are not disqualified, and you are not out of time. The very fact that you notice the voice proves something is alive in you that is not the voice. That is the part of you Jesus is speaking to now. Hold that awareness. In this battle, recognition is half the victory. Keep going. In the next chapter, I will show you where the battlefield truly is and why Jesus insisted on vigilance, not to frighten you, but to arm you. You have been told the problem is your job, your relationships, your schedule, your past. Those matter, but they are not the battlefield that decides your days. The decisive ground is closer, small as a breath, wide as a sky. Your mind, not your brain as a machine, but the inner space where meanings are assigned, stories are rehearsed, and futures are chosen. If the enemy wins there, your feet will simply follow orders. If you win there, even storms obey a deeper calm. Notice how it happens. A thought appears uninvited. It feels like analysis, but it's accusation. It feels like prudence, but it's fear in a new suit. It sits heavy on your chest and calls itself realistic. You don't argue out loud. You surrender by silence. Hours later, the body is exhausted and nothing on the outside actually happened. Only a sequence of statements inside you that you never examined. This is why Jesus said, "Watch." Not glance. Watch. He was training guardians, not warriors. The Bible does not treat thoughts as harmless. It speaks of strongholds, structures built brick by brick out of repeated sentences. A lie accepted on Monday becomes a mood on Tuesday and a lifestyle by the weekend. Paul pulls no punches. We demolish arguments and every proud thing raised against the knowledge of God, and we take every thought captive. Here the verbs: demolish, take captive. This is not passive spirituality, this is clear authority, and it is handed to you. But here is a nuance most people miss, the nuance that turns this from theory into practice. Not every thought that passes through your awareness originates in you. Some are echoes from old wounds. Some are the crowding noise of a world addicted to hurry. Some are spiritual pressure with a single goal: to keep you from listening to the voice that gives life. When Jesus faced temptation in the wilderness, he did not debate origins. He identified content. If it contradicted the Father, it left. Simple, surgical, final. You don't need a monastery to do this. You need a moment of clarity in the middle of your ordinary day. Imagine placing a small, steady lamp on the table of your mind. Under that light, thoughts reveal their faces. Anything that shrinks your dignity, denies God's character, or predicts a future without hope is not neutral commentary. It is an intruder. You don't curse it, you don't panic, and you don't entertain it. You label it and you replace it. In a moment, I will show you how. This is why the battle is unseen. From the outside, you look calm. Inside, verdicts are being announced. You nod in a conversation while a voice inside condemns you. You smile in a photo while another voice drafts a bleak forecast. Jesus does not shame you for this. He steps into the room, turns on the lamp, and hands you language that ends the rule of the intruder. Keep listening. Next, we will open the hidden teaching most people rush past, the way Jesus himself answered the attack and how you can do the same in real time. You have heard 1,000 sermons about resisting sin, but Jesus went deeper. He spoke to the place where thoughts are born. His first public word was not, "Try harder," but "repent." In the language he used, that is not guilt theater. It means change your mind. Shift the seat of awareness. Step out of the stream that drags you and stand on the bank where you can see. When he said, "Watch and pray," he was not asking you to become anxious. He was giving you posture. Eyes open, heart steady, attention awake. When he said, "If your eye is single, your whole body will be full of light," he described what it feels like when attention stops chasing every voice and rests in one clear gaze. And when he said, "The kingdom is within," he located the meeting place. Not somewhere far away, but here, where thoughts rise and fall. Jesus never treated you as a victim of your inner talk. He spoke to you as a steward. Take no thought for tomorrow. Not because life is easy, but because worry writes false prophecies and forces you to live inside them early. Let not your heart be troubled, not because trouble won't knock, but because you hold the key to the door. He did not deny pain. He denied its right to narrate your future. Every line he gave assumes something fierce and hopeful about you. You can notice, you can choose, you can answer. Here is the hidden part most people skip. Jesus didn't only warn you about lies, he gave you a voice stronger than the voice in your head. "Abide in my word," he said. Not visit it, abide. Let it become the background music your thoughts cannot drown out. He spoke blessing over identity. You are loved, you are mine, and then showed what to do when that identity is challenged. He did not say, "Debate the intruder." He said, in effect, "Hold your ground, speak truth." It is simple enough to carry into traffic, into a hospital corridor, into a sleepless night. If you think this is for saints with iron discipline, hear me. Jesus spoke these words to ordinary people with noisy lives, fishermen, mothers, doubters, the recently healed and the easily frightened. He called them to vigilance because he knew the storm would often be inside the boat. The point was never perfection. The point was authority, the ability to stand inside your mind and say, "This thought may pass, this one may stay." In a moment, you will see exactly how he did it in the wilderness. No mystical fog, no long ritual, just a clear answer that ends the argument. Stay with me. The technique is older than every self-help trick and sharper than every accusation that ever tried to name you. Picture the desert, heat wavering off the stones, silence pressing in, hunger sharpening every sensation. The attack does not arrive with horns. It arrives as suggestions that sound reasonable. If you are the Son of God, prove it. Take what you need. No one will see bout of power and you can skip the pain. Each line aims at the same target: identity, trust, worship, and Jesus answers each one the same way. It is written. No argument, no panic, no performance. A sentence of truth laid like a rail and his mind runs on it. This is not magic language, it is alignment. It is written means, there is a truer story than the one this thought is telling, and I choose it now. When the whisper says you are alone, he answers, it is written. I will never leave you nor forsake you. When the whisper says you will fail again, he answers, it is written. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. When the whisper says you are your past, he answers, it is written. If anyone is in Christ, a new creation has begun. He does not negotiate with the thought, he replaces it. Notice the timing. Jesus does not wait until the voice has built a house. He speaks at the threshold. The moment the lie knocks, the truth is already walking down the hall to meet it. That is why you don't need a special room or a special hour. You can do this in motion without breaking stride. You hear the familiar sentence rising. Not again, not you, not now. And you answer gently but decisively. It is written. And then the line you keep ready. The tone is calm. The authority is real. The conversation ends. And here is the surprise. Speaking truth this way does not make you rigid. It makes you free. The mind stops spinning because it has a place to stand. Anxiety loses oxygen because you refuse to rehearse its script. Even your body learns the new rhythm. Shoulders lower, breath eases. Decisions come from clarity instead of fear. You are not pretending the storm isn't there. You are refusing to hand it the microphone. If you feel underqualified, remember who wrote this playbook. The one who spoke to waves and they grew quiet is the same one who taught you to speak to thoughts and they grow quiet. You don't need the perfect verse. You need a living sentence that tells the truth about God and about you. Keep one close. Keep it on the tip of your tongue and the edge of your attention. In the next section, I will hand you a simple switch you can carry into any room. Watch, name, replace. So the next time the voice rises, you don't brace for battle. You flip the switch and walk on. If this is helping, drop a quick like so more people stuck in this battle can find it. Now let's make this switch portable. Here is the portable switch you can carry anywhere. You do not need silence, candles, or a perfect mood. You need one moment of attention. First, you watch. Not with suspicion, but with clarity. You notice the sentence rising inside you like a headline. You always ruin things. No one cares. This will never change. You feel how it tries to occupy the center of your awareness. You don't fight it, and you don't follow it. You step half a step back on the inside and look straight at it. That small distance is power. Next, you name it. Give it the right label so it loses its disguise. If it accuses your identity, call it what it is. Condemnation. If it paints the future in panic colors, call it worry. If it turns your past into a prison, call it shame. The intruder hates being named because a named thing can be escorted out. You are not insulting yourself. You are correctly identifying a sentence that does not belong to you. When Jesus said, "Watch," he taught you to see. When Paul said, "Take every thought captive," he gave you language for this naming. Then you replace it. This is the decisive move. You trade the lie for a truth you have already chosen to live by. You don't argue, you announce. It is written. You say it under your breath if you must, or you let it roll through your mind with calm authority. You keep a few living lines ready the way you keep keys or a phone. I am with you always. My grace is sufficient. Perfect love drives out fear. You are not hypnotizing yourself. You are aligning your inner story with the one whose word does not break. Watch, name, replace. The rhythm takes seconds, not minutes. You can do it in a doorway or in a crowded train. You can do it while you wash a cup, while you tie a shoe, while you wait for a page to load. This is not denial. It is discipleship at the speed of thought. Thoughts still arrive, but you stop giving them the house. Over time, the mind learns the new route and chooses it faster. The voice that never stopped begins to stumble because you no longer feed it attention. Picture a real moment. You open a message and feel the old sting of rejection. The sentence forms, of course. It's you. You watch it appear. You name it, shame. You replace it. It is written. There is no condemnation for those who are in Christ. Your shoulders lower. The day keeps moving. Later, the same pressure returns with a different mask. You'll mess this up. You see it, name it, and answer, it is written, the Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. The loop breaks not because you shouted it down, but because you refuse to narrate your life with a lie. Do not wait for a perfect verse before you begin. Use the clearest truth you know now and refine it as you walk. The power is not in your eloquence. The power is in the alignment. Even a short sentence becomes a key if it fits the lock. If you feel unprepared, borrow the words Jesus used in the wilderness, it is written, and attach the promise you remember best. You will be amazed how quickly the weather inside you changes when the mind hears a familiar, trustworthy voice. You were not brought here to admire a technique. You were brought here to claim your authority. You can shut the door on a thought without hating yourself for having it. You can live from a center that is quiet even when the world is loud. Keep the switch close. In a moment, we will confront the most common ambush. Anxiety. It calls itself responsible, but it is a thief. When it arrives, this same switch becomes a shield that frees your hands to act. Anxiety feels like wisdom because it rehearses every danger in advance. It promises protection and delivers paralysis. Jesus knew exactly how convincing it can be. That is why he spoke straight to it. Do not worry about your life. He did not shame you for feeling the surge. He invited you to step out of it. He pointed at sparrows and fields, not to trivialize your pain, but to anchor your attention in a reality your fear refuses to include. You are held. When anxiety rises, your mind starts writing a movie with only one ending. You see the loss, the mistake, the humiliation, and you live inside that scene before anything happens. Faith is not pretending the risk is small. Faith is refusing to live in a future God has not written. This is where the switch earns its keep. You watch the anxious sentence as it forms. What if I can't? What if they won't? What if this collapses? You name it without apology. Worry. And you replace it not with glitter but with a promise that carries weight. It is written, cast your care on him, because he cares for you. It is written, be anxious for nothing, and the peace of God will guard your heart and mind. You keep moving, you make the call, you answer the email. Your steps become proof that the story has changed. Notice how Jesus links freedom from worry to vision. If your eye is single, your whole body will be full of light. Anxiety multiplies your gaze, one eye on God, one eye on disaster. A single eye does not mean a smaller life, it means a focused one. You choose which voice sets the scene. As you practice, the body learns to trust your choices. Breath deepens on its own. Muscles unlock without a command. You are not forcing calm. You are letting peace do what it promised. Guard. Peace becomes a sentry at the door. Anxiety will try to return, often at night or before risk. Don't make that return a verdict about you. Make it a reminder to turn on the lamp. Watch, name, replace. If you forget, begin again without drama. God is not counting failures. He is teaching you to steer. Every time you choose the true sentence, you are placing one more stone in a new road. Soon you will recognize the first tremor and cut the script before the storm can gather. You are not here by accident. You were led to this moment because your future requires a quieter mind than your past. Keep listening. Next, you will learn how to train the mind of Christ in the middle of ordinary days. So this isn't a trick you use under pressure, but a way you think, walk, and decide. You don't need a retreat center to think like Jesus. You need a decision you can carry into a hallway, a meeting, a kitchen sink. The mind of Christ is not a prize for the calm. It's a posture for the moving. You train it the way you learn a language, by living in it until the grammar becomes your instinct. You begin in the middle of your life as it is, alerts chiming, people needing you, old memories trying to narrate today. In that noise, you practice a new default. When a thought arrives, you lift it to the light and ask, does this sound like the shepherd or the thief? You already know the difference. One voice steals energy and names you by your worst moment. One voice restores and names you by your future. Abiding in Jesus' word is not a homework list, it's atmosphere. Think of it as the soundtrack under your scene. You can keep a couple of sentences close, ready like a refrain, and let them play quietly beneath your errands. When irritation flares, the refrain answers. When shame reaches for the wheel, the refrain answers. You are not trying to stop all thoughts. You are choosing which words get the microphone. And as you do, you notice something unexpected. Peace stops being a fragile mood and starts acting like a guard. You walk through the same places with a different weather system around your heart. You train anywhere by telling the truth sooner. You spot the spiral as it takes its first turn and you speak while your feet keep moving. At the sink, it is written. On the sidewalk, it is written. Between one sentence and the next in a tense conversation, it is written. This is not performance, it is oxygen. You will feel clumsy at first, as anyone does learning new steps. Keep going. The awkwardness is proof that you're no longer surrendering automatically. Every time you replace a lie with a living sentence, you widen the path of peace a little more. And tomorrow your mind will find it faster. Let the body help. Shoulders down, jaw unclenched, eyes soft. Not as a ritual to summon God, but as a way of refusing the posture of defeat. Your outer frame reminds your inner world, we are safe enough to choose, and choose you do again and again until the choice becomes character. This is the mind of Christ taking root, not as a special event, but as your manner of walking through rooms. Expect resistance. The old narrator will complain that you're being unrealistic. It preferred you exhausted and obedient, smile at its dramatics and answer anyway. The truth is not fragile. It doesn't need a perfect setting to work. It only needs your consent. You can grant that consent in a checkout line with a cart that squeaks. You can grant it at 2 a.m. to a ceiling you've memorized. You can grant it in a doorway with your hand still on the knob. Every place becomes a chapel the moment you choose whose voice decides what happens next. Over time, you will recognize a new pattern. Fewer arguments with yourself, cleaner choices, courage without the aftertaste of panic. People around you may not have language for it, but they will notice the quiet. That quiet is not emptiness, it's authority. It is the sound of a heart seated where it belongs. Keep the switch close. Keep the sentences alive. And as you do, pay attention to the simplest miracle of all. You begin to like being with yourself again. That is not self-indulgence. It is evidence that the kingdom within is no longer a phrase. It is home. You have everything you need to walk out of this chapter with a different future. Not a louder personality, not a flawless record, just a clear choice. Two narrators stand at your door. One says, "You are your fear, your failure, your worst day." The other says, "You are mine." Only one of them knows tomorrow. Only one speaks with the weight of reality. This is the hidden teaching in plain sight. Victory begins when you refuse to call every thought you and start answering with a word that will still be true when your feelings change. So choose now. Choose before the next message pings, before the next memory tightens your chest, before the room gets noisy again. Choose to watch instead of drift, to name instead of accuse yourself, to replace instead of rehearse the old script. Let your inner gate swing on a new hinge. When the familiar whisper starts its speech, not you, not now, not ever, cut it off gently and say what Jesus said. It is written. Say it tired. Say it on your way to the thing you've been dreading. Say it with a voice that shakes if it must. Authority is not volume, it is agreement with truth. You are not late. You are not alone. The shepherd of your soul does not shout from a distance. He sits beside you and teaches you his cadence until it becomes yours. The storm may keep visiting, but it will not own the house. The voice may try again, but it will not wear your name. You will walk into rooms you used to avoid and feel the quiet arrive first. You will wake at night and realize you are already answering. You will notice that peace no longer breaks when someone bumps into you. If this spoke to you, don't lock it inside. Somebody you love is fighting the same battle and thinks they're losing because they're tired. Send them the lifeline you just held, and keep walking with me. There is more to learn, more to unlearn, more ground to take back with truth. For now, take your next step with a sentence ready. The battle of the mind can be won, not by pretending you're strong, but by agreeing with the one who is. It is written.